Hello everyone, my name is Leo with SuperTech. Got a customer that just got to bringing me this console here. Basically, he stated that they had a power surge. Basically, during thunderstorms, they had a power surge that came through the house. It fried one of their TVs at the same time. Whenever they attempted to turn this console on, it would no longer display anything. It does go to a white light, basically the white light of death, but there's no display at all being shown on a TV. Now, I did validate and confirmed that there's nothing wrong with the HDMI port itself, at least not anything I can see from the outside. Um, so that basically goes and tells me that it's either going to be the video encoder chip or possibly the actual hard drive. So the first thing I'm going to test is actually the hard drive itself, just to make sure that in fact it's not the hard drive. And if it's not the hard drive, it'll definitely be the video encoder chip, which we will go in there and get it replaced. That being said, let's go ahead and get the hard drive out of this particular console. Test to see if in fact it's the hard drive. If it's not, then we'll take the remainder of the console apart and we'll replace the video encoder chip. Alrighty, so first things first, we got to take out this particular hard drive. Of course, to take out the hard drive on a PS4 Slim, it is on the back portion of the actual console itself. So all we do is we push this lid here outwards this way, so that it actually allows you, just like that, it allows you to access the hard drive, which is right there. So all you have to do is remove this screw right there, and then pull out the hard drive using this. Give me a second, y'all. My baby boy's actually coming out here.
Oh, there. On this.
Alrighty. So, as stated before, you pull out the tab, remove the screw, and then that allows you to pull the hard drive from here with no issue. So we're going to go ahead and test this hard drive real quick. So we're just going to remove this bolt. And now we just pull the hard drive out. And of course, I do have a little small docking station over here for 2.5 hard drives. So I do have to take out the hard drive from the actual caddy itself. Remember how the hard drive is. That way you're able to put it back the same way as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and take out these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. To be able to remove the hard drive off of the caddy. Alright, now that I have the hard drive out of the caddy, it is a 1 terabyte hard drive. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the my case back here. It's called an Initech. Alrighty, I do have it plugged in. Let me go ahead and get to the screen where you'll be able to see it. Alright, moving the software over to the side. As you can see, there's no hard drive showing. I have hidden my personal hard drive from it. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on. I've got it turned on. Let's see if it'll read the hard drive, and it did. It is a 1 terabyte hard drive. The health on it, it is 100%. Performance 100%. Temperature, of course, is showing 28 Celsius, which is good. That's actually a good readings off of this particular hard drive. So the hard drive itself is actually healthy. That being said, let's go ahead and remove this hard drive, eject it from the caddy, and then remove it, and then we're going to proceed with the remainder of the repair. We're going to go ahead and proceed with the remainder repair of taking this console apart all the way to the actual motherboard, not the motherboard, but the well, yeah, it is a motherboard, but the PCB board, and basically diagnosing that the issue, in fact, it is the video encoder chip and not the HDMI port, and replacing, of course, the video encoder chip. Alrighty, so now that we've confirmed that the issue is actually not the hard drive, we're going to go ahead and proceed with taking the remainder of the console apart and validating that, in fact, the actual video encoder chip is the actual issue, the problem of why the console is not showing in the video. So let's go ahead and get this console apart. First things first, we got to take this top casing off. Normally, what I like to do is start from the corners. So I'll start on one end and then work my way to the other end by pushing it upwards. There we go. We got the top casing off. This console does seem to be clean. Normally what I like to do as well, of course, is with my shop vac start sucking up some of the dust, but it doesn't seem to be as bad. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with the remainder, and that's actually removing the power supply. I've got this from iFixit. I'm not sponsored of any sorts at all whatsoever, but I did end up getting this from iFixit directly from their actual website. And yeah, it's very versatile. It's got all the attachments I need to be able to take practically almost any mobile device and or consoles apart. So it has every single bit that I need to complete a job. I actually have more than one. I've got one downstairs because sometimes this is a home-based business. I don't have an actual front store location. It is a home-based business, and I've got one downstairs in my garage where I normally tend to do the easier jobs that don't require an extensive job to do. For example, like any type of HDMI port and or any type of IC chip replacement. Alright, so we've got all the screws removed off of this for the power supply. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and remove the actual power supply itself. Actually we cannot take it out because there's one more screw on the other end. So let's go ahead and turn this around. Now for this, there is one bolt here where it's below where the warranty sticker is at. For the warranty sticker, so that I don't mess it up completely, I do put my air station to about, I would say about 300 or so Fahrenheit, with a pretty low airflow. I would say probably about 70%. I heat it up just a bit to melt some of the glue off of it. Alrighty, once I've melted some of the glue, I use my tweezers and lift on the actual sticker itself. Alright, we've got the sticker lifted up. Now, of course, I'll put that to the side. And now we can access the screw that's in the center to be able to get this bottom cover off. Alrighty, that's done. I do the same scenario with this. I start with one end and start working my way down to the other end when removing this case. Once I've lifted this entire bottom end, I'll lift it at once and then push it out that way to be able to remove it, and voila. Now that we're here, in order to be able to remove the power supply below, there is one other screw that needs to be undone, which normally is this screw right over here, and it looks like someone's probably already been here. Actually, hold on, let me see. I believe it's going to be either... Well, there may not be another screw that's holding it in place. Normally there is. There's one screw that's right there that holds that power supply. Let's take a look. I haven't removed anything from the bottom. Yeah, there is going to be a screw somewhere that's holding it in place. I don't know which one it could be. Okay, it's this one. So yeah, I was right. There is a screw that's holding it in place. And it is this screw right there. Before the power supply can be removed, you got to take out this screw. And now, with that screw being gone, power supply can be lifted. Here we go. There we go, power supply is out. And now we got to remove this wire, which is the antenna wire, from the board itself. You don't necessarily have to undo that. You can leave that alone, that's fine. And we've got all the wires, which is the antenna wire and the 5-volt power cable off of the power supply. Antenna's out. Now, in order to get to the actual PCB board, all we need to do is remove, of course, this antenna here, and all these other bolts, or screws, not bolts, but screws, off of this case, off of the chassis. There's two in there as well. And once you've got them removed, then we are able to access the actual board. Of course, we also have to undo the ribbons themselves. So we're going to start with the ribbons. Right, ribbon cables are all undone. We're going to do this other antenna. And we also need to undo it from here. Alright, so long as we just move it to the side, it's fine. Alrighty. And now, what we need to do is undo all these other bolts. Now, I could go and just use this. It would take me a while to get all these out just using this. So the other tool I use, it is my Milwaukee, sorry about that. My Milwaukee M4 battery operated electric screwdriver. I do use this. It makes things a whole lot easier and faster to remove all these screws. And I like to go in order as well when removing the screws. So first I like to take out all of the black screws, and then I'll take all the silver ones afterwards. And I forgot to undo the fan. Alright, as you can see, it was that simple and that quick to be able to remove these. If any of you are actually interested in getting into this, I will put the link down in the description below. I did buy it off of Amazon. Let's go ahead and proceed and getting the silver screws out. Alrighty, all the silver screws are basically out. There is only one other screw that's on the other side, which is right there. I need to go ahead and remove in order to be able to get this chassis out, which is this one right there at the center. For that, I will use the screwdriver here with the bit and get it out. Alrighty. That being said, we should be able to now remove the chassis, so long as I didn't miss or forget any screws, which I did not. Now we've got access to the actual board. Now what we got to do is actually remove the heatsink from here. Well, it's not necessarily a heatsink. Give me a second, y'all. Alrighty, so now what we got to do is actually remove this clamp that holds the board down for the APU. You got the clamp removed. And always remember, whenever putting the board back, make sure you have your thermal pads on the memory sticks, because if you don't have that, they can also overheat as well. And this here, it's the cable we removed off of the power supply, which is for the 5 volts going in. Alright, we got that cable removed. And now we should be able to just lift the board up. Board is lifted, and now we can put the chassis over to the side. Alrighty, now that we've got the actual board completely taken out, basically the issue that could be is either your HDMI port or the video encoder chip. I am going to test the capacitor surrounding the video encoder chip to see if they're shorted. I'm not sure if I'm actually touching these, so let me go ahead and put my microscope on. Alrighty, so everything basically was checking out around the actual video encoder chip. Let me check the actual pins themselves on the HDMI port. Well, the pins seem to be good as well on the HDMI port. So definitely the issue is going to be the MN864729 chip, which is the video encoder chip. Let me see if I do have any in stock. I do have 2 in stock. So this chip here needs to be replaced. And I'm going to replace it with this one, which is a new chip. That being said, let's go ahead and prep this board to get this chip removed. Alright, first things first, I do need to get my hot iron to 750 Fahrenheit. Alright, 750 Fahrenheit, and my airflow is going to be at max airflow, which is 120%. Normally, I do see people that put some Kapton tape. I normally don't do that. What I am going to put on here, though, it is going to be some flux. Just a tad bit of flux. I do need to turn on my hot iron as well, because I am going to have to clean this afterwards. And let's get my fume extractor as well. And let's go ahead and start the heating process. We're going to warm up the board from pretty far. There we go. Video chips removed. Let's go ahead and prep the board for the new chip. To do that, I'm going to add a little bit more flux. Get my hot iron and get some leaded solder. We're going to get the leaded solder over the unleaded solder that's on the board to lower the melting temperature. Alrighty, we're going to start heating up from pretty far away. I do not like the way it looks, so let me go ahead and add a little bit more flux to this. Alrighty, so now that we've got the video encoder chip in there, and we've got this board basically cleaned up, let's go ahead and temporarily test before we put everything back together. We're going to go ahead and put this board in there. I'm going to keep the same thermal paste for now. We're going to test to see if it'll actually show us an image. And yeah, based off of that, we will determine whether we proceed with putting the console back together, or if I need to start diagnosing any other things. Actually, one of the things I did forget to do, I did find, which I think it's gone. Never mind. I did see this burnt spot, but I think it was more of the flux, burnt flux, I think. Alright, we're going to keep the thermal paste that's currently on there for now, just temporarily. I will take it back apart if I need to. Well, I will take it back apart to put new thermal paste. For now, I just need to test. Alrighty. Console is in the state in order for us to be able to test. Let's go ahead and plug it in. That's plugged in. Let's plug in the HDMI cable. Alright. Everything is plugged in that needs to be plugged in. Let me put it into my test bench 3. And let's move this over to the desktop and let's see if we see any boot. This thing was turning into a white light before. It's currently set to a blue light. We are waiting. Oh, it just turned off. Oh, it overheated. Ah, that's my fault. That is my fault. I completely forgot to put this on. And also the fan. Okay, let's turn this thing back around. Let's try this again. Blue light's still on. Fan is spinning. I still see no signal on my screen. I do see a white light. No signal. My tester here shows something's actually wrong. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, something's not right. Alright, let me check that video encoder chip one more time. This is where the HDMI port is at. I'm going to check that one right there to see if maybe that also went bad. So I'm going to put it in continuity mode. The actual multimeter. We should hear this if it's good. If you don't hear any continuity, that means it's bad. It's actually good. .5 ohms. Okay, so what else can it be? Let's check the filters again. Maybe one of the filters went bad during this process. Unless I got a bad chip, I don't know what else it can be. Alrighty, so as you can see, I did some diagnostics, basically compared one board to the other. Found out that this particular, I believe it's a diode or a filter of some sort, was actually burnt out. It was actually shorted. It's the, I believe it's this one, similar to this one right over here, similar to this one right there. It was shorted. So now we're gonna go ahead and get it replaced. And if this doesn't work, I do have a board I can harvest from. Alright, let's go ahead and test to see if it'll still sound shorted. It's no longer shorted. Let's go ahead and test it out now. Replace that filter right over here. And let's go ahead and put the console back together again for testing purposes and see if it'll give us the same issue. If it doesn't, we'll take it back apart, put some new thermal paste. I put the clamp on so that it does not overheat. Let's go ahead and see if this console will now show a display. So let's go ahead to test bench 3. Let's turn the TV on. And let's turn this console on. Now, power buttons on, lights on, fan spinning. Let's see if we see a display. And I forgot to change over here to see if, oh, there we go. Yes, sir. We got a display. Alrighty, so this console, it is repaired. Give me just a second. I'll go ahead and take it apart, put some thermal paste on it, and put it back together, and then we'll test right afterwards once again. Alrighty, so we've got the console put together. Now let's go ahead and plug in the HDMI cable. Hopefully we did not mess anything up while putting it together. HDMI cable, power cable. And let's go ahead and turn this console on. Power button's on. There we go. We got an image. And we just want to make sure that it's going to show the splash screen, PlayStation splash screen for the customer. There we go. We got the PlayStation logo, which is the splash screen. And let's see if it'll boot up all the way through. There we go. There we go, customers profiles. And we're set. Other than that, this console is completely repaired. Make sure that the wireless works. Let's make sure that the wireless network works as well. Yep, it's detecting the wireless. And let's see if it'll connect. Alrighty, looks like it connected, and yeah, console is good to go. Alrighty. Now, for those of you that actually stayed in tune and watched my videos, thank you very much. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit the like button on this particular video if you like the actual content itself, and also go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So do both. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification so you get notified every time I actually upload a video. Other than that, my name's Leo with SuperTech, and I'll be seeing you on my next video. Thank you. Bye. Peace.